Good evening, Philippines, and welcome to Take Two. I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. My name is Jason on the radio, and I hope you guys are well and are in the safety of your homes. Now, recently, the Philippine Broadcasting Service held two big radio events, PBS, or Parangal Bayanihan at Samahan, that featured 30 of the best foreign and local acts, a show to uplift the morale and pay tribute to our capitalist heroes and, of course, frontliners. We also did One on One. It's a radio special to show our appreciation to the artists and their amazing talent that kept us glued to our radios all day long during the quarantine. Let me ask you this question. What's the first thing you will do when the quarantine orders are lifted? Will you be driving to your favorite overlooking spot? Probably install a wicked car audio system? Maybe get a tune-up, perhaps. Well, our special guest for tonight lives and breathes cars. Welcome to episode 2, Lights Out, and away we go with our guest who has been involved in the motorsports and automotive industry for more than 3 decades. Here's the founder and CEO of TRS and TRS Driver Development Academy and Formula V1. Time to go full send with Mr. JP Tuason. Hey, bro.
Hey, how you doing, you guys?
I'm good.
Jason.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, of course. You know, I listen to FM2 all the time, bro. It's the best station ever.
It is our time, right?
It is awesome.
Hey, now how have you been? I mean, how have you actually been coping with this pandemic?
So honestly, at the very beginning, it was quite difficult. I mean, it's difficult for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But, we found it difficult because our business just went to a standstill.
That's right.
And what really helped us get out of that mindset of it being difficult was to, as a family, we created a schedule so that we could sort of normalize our days. And I think one of the important things that helped me get into a really good mindset is every morning when I have coffee, I kind of write down all of my gratitudes, what I'm grateful for.
Oh, that's a great activity.
Yeah, dude. You write down the top 10 things that you're grateful for every day, and I'm grateful for all this technology, being able to do these podcasts, because to be able to see you right now, friends.
Exactly. Right? Paano we get to connect, right, with one another.
Yeah, for sure. It's helped me immensely. Because,
have you been, besides the usual things you do before this, of course, ECQ, have you been started, cooking or something, trying something different?
Yeah, one of the interesting things that we've been toying with is to move our business online.
Okay.
And by being stuck at home for 2 months now, an interesting thing is we've really studied how people consume online information, and we've
content.
now pivoted. Yeah, we've pivoted while in lockdown into a virtual racing platform. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, definitely, I've learned a lot about how people consume social
besides
media.
Cars, by the way, do you also ride a motorcycle?
I do.
Ooh.
It's actually one of the courses we teach at the school. We train people how to race cars, single-seaters, go-karts, and then, of course, we've been doing the Superbike School for about 7 years now. So we run a program in the Philippines, in Malaysia, and in Thailand called the California Superbike School.
Right.
And we've got instructors from all over the world. We fly in for a week, and we run training for superbikes or 1,000cc sport bikes.
And speaking of bikes, what bike do you have?
Well, I used to have a Ducati, and it's a great bike. We work with Kawasaki right now, but quite honestly, I think riding is, for me at least, I like to ride at the track because I like to push it really hard, and I don't want to worry about dogs crossing the road and all of that stuff. So for my local use around the village, I've got a little scooter. But at the track, we like to ride leader bikes.
If you would weigh for yourself, which would you like to race more, with your car or with your bike?
I really think that at the end of the day, cars are more safe because you're enclosed, right? You've got the seat belt, you've got the whole safety cage and all of that.
It's more forgiving in the racetrack.
More forgiving. If you crash the car, you're worried about fixing the car. If you crash the bike, you're
included.
For sure, you're gonna break something on the bike, but you're hoping that you don't break something on yourself.
Exactly.
But having said that, there's nothing more thrilling than riding a bike. I think riding bikes fast and hard at the track is even more exciting than racing cars.
Right. But of course, compared to, riding hard on the road, it's really much safer riding the motorcycle in a race, proper racetrack.
Definitely, because at the track it's a controlled area, so there's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen at the track that you don't have to worry about. Like cars cutting you off, or cars just stopping all of a sudden, or potholes, or dogs crossing the road and stuff like that. But in terms of everyday use, I think that motorcycles really have a place in the Philippines.
Right, especially now. I mean, I really can't say moving forward, but before, remember the traffic situation. We really need less space on the road, and the motorcycle does that.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm going to take that word from you. Moving forward, right? Motorcycles will only be more popular, not only because of the price, but also the functionality, because you can get from place to place much quicker on a motorcycle. At the end of the day, we've already seen it, right? The other day they opened up the roads and it was already traffic again, right?
Exactly.
Half the people still in their houses, it's still traffic. So I think motorcycles are here to stay. They're only going to get bigger, and I think the way forward with motorcycles, which is something we're trying to do, is to just educate the riders about how to become safe on the roads.
Any plans, like besides the racing school, do you plan to put up a defensive riding school for motorcycles?
That's a really good question. So we've been doing defensive driving for cars for about 10 years now. And we've trained a lot of people all across the country. But with our partners for the California Superbike School, I've got a partner. His name is Rainiel Resuelo, and he's a Superbike champ. And with him and the Superbike guys from the U.S., we're now developing a program for small bikes. So these are basically the 125cc
the scooters
bikes.
Yeah,
the scooters, right? And we're trying to develop a program we're going to roll out hopefully this year to make the roads safer and obviously make it more affordable as well for people to take these classes.
And I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. Count me in there. Now, speaking of the racing school, brother, what is the advantage of a driver who attended racing school? I mean, can that be applied to everyday driving in terms of discipline?
Well, I think, first of all, I think if someone is going to learn how to ride a motorcycle or learn how to drive a race car, first thing to do is to enroll in a proper class.
Right.
And we say this because it's very easy to get into an accident. A lot of people try to learn how to ride or drive by watching other people. And I tell you, it just doesn't work that way. That's how you develop the bad habits that are dangerous.
Exactly, yeah.
By going to the race schools or to the proper training schools, then you cut a lot of the wrong habits, the bad habits out, and you become a safer rider or driver right away. So at the race school, we train a lot of we do a lot of exercises that can be translated to good driving styles or habits. Like one of the major activities that we do for both cars and motorcycles is it's all about vision, right?
Right.
And this is because whatever you look at or wherever you look at is where you're going to bring your car or motorcycle. So a lot of people don't realize that, for example, if you're riding or driving down the road and somebody crosses,
right,
the reason why that person gets ran over is because you're staring at them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's called target fixation or hand and eye coordination, right? So it's very similar to the pothole. You're driving, you see a pothole, you say, oh, I'm not going to put the car in the pothole. You're looking at the pothole, then all of a sudden, boom, you destroyed the
end up where it is.
Yeah. So I think it's important. A lot of the exercises that we teach can be translated to road safety, to becoming a better rider or driver on the road. And yeah, we invite people to come and take classes.
So basically, yes, there are a lot of things that they can apply on day-to-day driving.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it actually improves their reflexes.
That's right. So we do a lot of activities where we teach people what you can and cannot do with the steering wheel, what you can and cannot do with the brakes. And a lot of these exercises, because they're being done on closed roads at the circuit, are things that they would not be able to experience on the regular roads. So it allows them to do these crazy things at the track and be safe, so that if you have to do it on the road to be able to keep away from an accident, then you would know what to do.
Okay. Now, speaking of motorsport, how popular is motorsport racing in the Philippines? If you look at the age range, what's the youngest? What's the oldest drivers or racers?
Yeah. So we on our Facebook page, we've got over 120,000 people that follow us, and it's crazy because we get messages from kids as young as 11 or 12 years old asking us how to get involved in motorsport.
Wow, that's really young.
Very young. And then we also get inquiries from guys that are over 50 years old. Can we still start racing? So our oldest racer was 63 years old, and he won the championship about 3 years ago in the Vios Cup. So age is really not a problem. And our
at 63, he won?
63.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that story. That's interesting.
So we had a student. He's a British guy that lives in Clark, right? Loves motorsports, and came to the classes. He said, "Can I still get involved in this? I'm 63 years old." I said, "Yes, of course." Bought a car, and in the second season of racing, he won the championship. I mean, it was won by like 1 point. It was really tight, but he did win the championship, and it's been a fantastic season with him.
From zero to hero in what, in a year?
Yeah, in a year and a half. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess when there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. That's right, my friend.
Right. Well, speaking of course, the local racing scene, how has the pandemic affected our local racing scene?
Yeah, so right now it's a bit difficult because the season was supposed to start in March. So basically the lockdown started probably a week before the season opener. So everybody was ready to go racing, and then the lockdown happened.
Right.
And usually the series goes until about September or October every year. So this year, I think with the pandemic, the racetracks are set to open in July, August.
Okay.
And races probably starting in September. Now, this year is it's a bit of a special year because of what's happened, and I think that what will happen is we're going to be running into a winter season. What that means is instead of running during the summer, which is what we do every year, people will now be looking at running in September, October, November, and possibly January to make up for this year.
Right. Okay.
Now, I know a lot of people are out there thinking, wow, you guys are going to go racing this year. But, it can be done. Formula One is about to start up.
Okay.
And the way they've done it is, obviously when you're in the car, you're racing, you're there by yourself. There's no one to get power with, right?
Right.
And the key is really to not have spectators. For all the mechanics and crew to have the proper PPE, and of course to be able to televise it or to broadcast it on the internet.
So most people will be actually watching these live events from the comfort of their homes, safely.
Yeah. What we've seen actually in the last couple of years is it's been difficult to get people to go all the way to the circuit in Clark or Batangas, which is about 2 hours away from Makati.
Okay.
In either direction.
Yeah.
So we've seen that maybe the max you can have is 10,000 people at the track, and then the track is super full already, right? But by broadcasting the races online, we've been able to see big spikes in terms of hundreds of thousands of people watching the races online. So there's definitely a following if you put it online, and I think it'll be the way to go with this virus issue, keeping social distancing.
Right. Okay, talking about that winter season a while ago, because is this your plan B? Because I'm thinking, let's say I'm not. Hopefully, there
Yeah,
is no second wave. But if it does
yeah.
happen, and then they don't allow you to race, so nothing's going to happen. Let's say by August. So what's the
Yeah.
plan B?
Well, I think we're being very realistic about the situation as well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if well, Plan A was obviously to run in March. Plan B is to run in September, and just in case we have to lock down again,
Yeah.
what's happened is we ourselves have pivoted online. So we've actually started uh, an online virtual race
Okay.
using the PS4 platform. It's called Race for Frontliners. So what we do is we allow people to race in race heats, 15 drivers at a time. It's
Right.
wheel-to-wheel racing. We're
Mm-hmm.
sponsored by some great companies which have great prizes as well, and it's entertaining the race enthusiasts. We have a proper broadcast, and all of the registration fees and donations go straight to the frontliners.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, so we're doing this now while we're in lockdown, and hopefully it will transition to the races on track
Mm-hmm.
in September of this year. And if it doesn't go that way, then we'll continue on with our virtual racing until we can start racing again.
How many people have already joined the online races?
So we're on our third race. We
Mm-hmm.
started in April. We do
Mm-hmm.
them every 2 weeks, and we get about anywhere between 80, 90 drivers every race day.
Yeah.
And we broadcast the races in the evening, and we've actually we're surprised that we get views of up to 170,000 people watch these
That is a
broadcasts.
lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So
As,
it goes to show that there's a lot of people really interested in
right.
online racing now. I mean, esports is really a big thing, and I think motorsports will follow in that direction as well.
As are there pros joining these online games?
You know, that's really interesting that you say that, because we're about to organize a pro am invitational race
Mm-hmm.
for these online races,
Right.
and we're getting inquiries from Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore. So there are pro racers and there are pro racers around the region, and all of these guys are going to come together in our event in the next 2 weeks.
Count
So
me in as
watch
one of
out
the
for that.
first spectator to actually watch that. Are you
Yeah,
also going
it'll
to
be
pit,
awesome.
the pros with, make an open race where,
Yeah.
the people who are just playing it for the fun of it and those pros and, pit them together?
Yes, and we're actually looking at the possibility of inviting a couple of celebrity friends to drive as well, and some
Nice.
professional race car drivers as well to join the series. So it'll be a great mix of people, and it'll be a great time. And again, this is all to help the frontliners.
Oh, that's just beautiful. That's wonderful. So, how different is virtual racing versus the actual race? Besides the obvious.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. I think now that we've had a lot of time to really study esports and virtual racing, I think it's a great grassroots for enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody asked me now, how do I get started in racing? I would actually push them in the direction of trying esports virtual racing first.
Right.
Now, one, it's very accessible. Two, it's not very expensive. And three, if you crash the car, you can just press the reset.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
So
that's the
um,
biggest safety feature right there.
we've seen a lot of people around the
Yeah.
world from the GT Academy program and
Mm-hmm.
from the virtual world to actually racing real cars. So we know that a lot of the basics can be learned there, and I think it would be a great place to start for anybody that wants to get involved in motorsport.
How is that different from the PS4 game that's running right now?
No, actually, we're using that game. So it's
Oh.
called Gran Turismo Sport.
Mm-hmm.
So GT Sport is a great platform. We're using it right now, and it allows people to play from all over the world. So right now we're concentrating on the Philippines, but we've got players that are coming in from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia.
And do you plan to, invite as well racers from the international circuit to actually join in the local races?
I think that'll definitely be one of our future activities to get these pro racers from all over Asia to come and play against our local guys.
Because I'm pretty sure there, it's something that would really make people very interested in motorsports, bringing in
For
those
sure.
big names into
For
the local
sure.
scene.
That's right, my friend. That's right.
All right, so I know you got something special for our listeners right now, and those viewing
Yes.
online.
So we have a special edition Tuason Racing hat. So we just celebrated our 21st year running the race school, and it's gold because we're in our golden years for
Congratulations.
Tuason Racing. So we've got two of these hats. They're, like I said, they're limited edition. We're only making a few of these, and we're gonna raffle two of them off. So the question is very simple: how many years has Tuason Racing been around? And all you have to do is answer it on the chat box below, and the guys will get in touch with you. If you're a winner, then please contact the station.
There you go. It doesn't get easier than that. So, yeah, good
There
luck
you
to
go.
all of you. And, of course, again, congratulations to you. And, of course, your racing companies right there. And, JP,
Thanks.
why don't you invite
And
them once again to, of course, your beautiful, wonderful online fundraising race event?
Perfect. So I want to invite all of the listeners and viewers of FM2. Please check out our Race for Frontliners. It's racing for a great cause. We're donating to hospitals. We're donating to the military. We're donating to the police. We're donating to all those frontliners that are keeping us safe at home. So join the races. The registration goes straight to the frontliners. You can check out the details on our Facebook page, Tuason Racing, and I'll see you guys at the races. Maraming
JP,
salamat.
thank you so much. It's very thoughtful and kind of you. Hats off to you, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
So there you got it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something from our special guest speaker, Mr. JP Tuason. Now it's time for you to put the pedal to the metal. Just kidding. Stay home. Watch your car instead. Hey, don't forget tomorrow on Take Two, it's the world of international concerts and live events with Claudine and Wilbros Live. Thanks, JP. See you around, brother.
See you.
Let's keep in touch. Bye.